Hello everybody and welcome back. Today on the spot we have the Snake Predator. This is NECA's overall second attempt at this Predator, and the 9th figure in the Lost Tribe line. So let's jump into this figure and see if it meets expectations. This is a figure that I did not expect to be doing a review about exactly right now. In fact, I got to say I'm very shocked with how fast NECA has been pumping out these Ultimate Predators lately. In fact, as I'm filming this right now, we have them all out, because the Elder, I understand, has been released. This figure I ordered a few weeks ago. It kind of got delayed a little bit due to the fact with the weather and a lot of mailing issues, but it finally made it in. Past few days, I've got a chance to kind of dissect it and get an opinion on it. I do want to go ahead and say, by the way, be sure to thank your mailman for what they do. I mean, it's one of those things I feel like they go underappreciated. And, if you have a chance to, be sure to thank them for their work because of what they're putting up with. And obviously not during just the holidays, but even, the rest of the year. But they got my Snake Predator to my door. And this is a figure that there's a lot of opinions about, and it's something that I do want to say. I may have slept on this figure a little bit. I will admit that. I don't know why this character kind of goes under the radar. As usual, we'll just go ahead and cover everything that we usually do. We'll go ahead and start with the box art, though, next. So the Snake Predator's box art, I don't feel like it's gotten the praise that, say, some of the other ones have gotten. I don't think people have considered this to be as, say, intriguing as some of the other box arts that we've had for, say, these other Predators. For what it's worth, I do think it's kind of cool. I mean, basically, we have the Snake Predator leaping onto an armored moving vehicle, driving his staff through the top. All these have been amazing. I mean, really they are, in their own unique way. I think it's great to see them, showcasing some new artists, going ahead and giving them a little bit of shine, rather than just doing the whole typical, say, movie art, box art, where they just go ahead and put the poster of the movie on there for each Predator. This is unique, and I actually want to see this continue, honestly, beyond this line. Then for that, on the side, we have Predator 2, it's the 30th anniversary on the side, number 9, that's what I was going to say before. And then for that, we have our read-up right there. You can go ahead and pause, various shots of the Snake Predator and all the other Predators in this line. The Elder one is the one that remains for me to go ahead and get. So I'm not going to say that he is coming out now, because he is exactly out now as we speak and as I film this. There is one other note I do want to go and say, that this is done by Tristan Jones, and I actually really like that because nothing against the other artists, but I feel like Tristan Jones, his art just appeals a bit more to me. I'm not trying to knock the other guy and his style, because his style is unique in a different way, but this, I would have preferred that they had stuck with Tristan Jones. But again, it's great to see other artists get a spotlight and a chance, so I'm not really going to argue or nitpick too much. You open this on up, and you have another shot of the Snake Predator. And then for that, we have our interior of the ship, and I have not taken out the accessories quite yet, but we'll get into those as we get deeper into this review. So I want to go ahead and give a few thoughts before I go ahead and actually kind of dive into this. There's a few things I do want to say. Okay, so first of all, this is a very differently sculpted Predator versus its older counterpart, which I think was Series 5, 6. I'm going to take a shot in the dark into Series 5. I can't remember exactly. But you will see what I mean once I bring the other one into frame, due to the fact that the other one I feel like is more comic book driven. This one feels more on par with actually our Ultimate City Hunter, honestly, because of the fact that I like to look at these, say between the abs and the chest, we have these black lines. It just feels like it's more lifelike than what the other one had. And obviously there's a big jump from, what they can do nowadays NECA versus what they were doing about a decade ago, which even then that felt terrific for the time being. Definitely get these reptilian snake-type vibes, obviously, on the head with the patterns right there. That is really cool. One thing I do absolutely applaud that I didn't think NECA would seriously do is the decision to go ahead and have it, mimic actual fur or whatever. I think that is really cool, because on the older one they went ahead and they just sculpted it. And this decision, is something I praise, because if they had dropped the ball and just sculpted the fur, I should say, I guarantee somebody would have to go ahead and customize it. And there are some great customizers out there in the NECA figure community, or just action figure community in general, that could have done this, can probably actually do this even better than what NECA did. I do think this fur right here, it is something that's be a little weary of. I feel like make sure you're not getting any liquid into it or nothing that's going to mess it up. Take good care of it, because I feel like this could fall apart as time goes on if you're not kind to it. But we'll see how it holds up throughout the years. On the back right here, This is one of the few Predators where we get a chance to see like the full body. The only other one would be like the Lab Escape Fugitive, which definitely showcases a lot right here. So we get to see all that pattern right there. And because of that, this Predator feels very different due to the fact that it lacks any armor at all, except with the exception of the fact that it does have its upper shoulder armor, and then for that, on the other side, it just shares basically the same pieces that we see out of the City Hunter. Then for that, we go over to the arms. We have our wrist wraps, something like that. I don't know what exactly the word is. I want to go ahead and say. This does not actually go back here. My brothers used to jokingly call it the iron ass on the original one. This actually goes to the front right there. So we have this little metallic piece that kind of goes over the crotch area. Disc holster he's also complete with. And then for that, the armor on the bottom down here, especially on the legs and the shins, it's more of like it makes me think of the Series 7 City Hunter that was kind of like a goldish kind of, the darker goldish. So that is unique to see that right there. I mean, where we do have some armor, I do like the choice of coloration in contrast to what we will see in the other one once I bring that one on. And then, of course, there is that gap, which that was, if you're still wondering what that was for, that was basically essentially for if the City Hunter, Ultimate City Hunter, had his net gun that went there. They just went ahead and just reused the exact same part. But overall, though, like I said in the last review, and other reviews I've said, I'll say it again, you're not missing anything and nothing goes there. So if you're a first-time collector, just remember that. That's something that has thrown some people off that have been messaged about in the past. A little switch up of lens right here so you guys can go ahead and get an up-close look at the netting right here. I think this netting is pretty good, honestly. Like, I'm not really arguing about it. Honestly, it may be off just the hair a little bit. NECA's never exactly perfect, but when this is on the shelf, though, you won't really notice it, though. You do have our little trophy and skull type combo type thing that we usually always have within some Predators. And we're going to go and slowly spin this around and hope it doesn't get out of focus at all to give you a close 360 view of this Predator. There is a little bit of that fur that does seem to be a little wonky in certain areas. I suppose I could patch that up a little bit. But again, on the shelf, you're not really going to notice this. Like I've said in the previous part of this video, I'm curious to see how this fur does hold up. It should hold up fine as long as you take good care of it. And before we go any further, I want to go ahead and give you guys a little slow 360 view of the head of this Predator. This Predator is notable for its shorter dreadlocks in contrast to most. I think it's kind of cool to see some variety. This is completely accurate to the movie, and even the last one basically had about the same length of dreads. And this head, for the most part, is just a repaint of the Jungle Hunter. The only notable things I can see that are even different is these little fangs and spikes, the quills that it kind of has on the actual head, as opposed to the Jungle Hunter, which did not have that. And I also think, due to the fact this one has a much different paint scheme and paint applications to it, it makes certain parts of it just pop quite a bit more. I do believe also it seems to be that the mandibles seem to be a little bit spread out on the snake, so it seems to be a little variation there between those two head sculpts. But that does it for the head sculpt. This one is not one I'm really complaining about. Our eyes don't appear to be too wonky, and in fact this seems to be one of the most crisp and clean Predators that is in my collection as far as the Ultimate goes. Next thing I want to go ahead and walk you guys through is the articulation for this figure. I'll go ahead and run you guys through this as quickly as possible. This figure really doesn't have a whole lot of differences, but the big thing that is key about this one is due to the fact that he doesn't have any exact armor in certain areas and lacks it. Basically, this figure is a lot more free, so you can spin this head around as far as you want to and do as you wish. Then for that, you have our articulation in the arms. You get a lot of decent range. Remember, this is pliable, so do not worry about this breaking off. Double jointed elbows. Then for that, you have our wrists, which go ahead and spin on around and rock. So those also do come off as usual. Then you have our ab articulation, which kind of rocks forward a little bit. It's probably, if anything, the most restricted thing this guy has. Then for that, at the waist, just go ahead and just kind of spin him around. Legs, all the way up, all the way back. Then for that, you move to the knees, double jointed once again. Then for that, these feet, you just can go ahead and rock around and do as you wish. I'm trying to think right here. I don't think there is a lot really that I'm missing on this one. But this guy right here is interesting though, because of the fact that you can do a whole lot with them, and you might be able to get more range and some unique shots out of this guy that you might not get out of, say like the boar or the guardian or any other predator, which is just heavily limited. So the snake does have a few perks in that department. Just make sure that you are being mindful, though, because as usual, it is a NECA figure. NECA figures have their quality issues. They eventually will have their limits. Just do as you wish and as you need. Use the hair dryer, use the hot water trick, whatever it takes to make sure you can get this guy to get the range and to safely articulate him. So it is never an Ultimate Predator without our accessories, and obviously this one has its fair share. So one of the key ones, obviously, that's in here is our trophy. This is alright and cool, but I'll be honest, I'm kind of worn out on the whole, skull and spine combo, or just a skull. Like, it feels like NECA could really shake things up and get some variety in there. I mean, I really don't care what it is, even if it's something we've seen from the trophy wall or such, but I feel like NECA needs to go ahead and shake things on up. And for that, we have our disc, which is, again, more expected. This is probably one I'm probably going to have him actually holding, probably. So to say, I have yet to test out how well this one goes into the holster. It's very hit and miss when it comes to these predators, oftentimes. Next right here. This right here, I actually have to think about what this is called, honestly, but it appears to be the Fang Blades, and we actually get two of these. I had to stop and look at the packaging because I never thought about what these are called. This is our new unique accessory that this guy has, so he just goes ahead and holds them. This makes up for his lack of wrist blades. Kind of cool. Not really as neat as, say, like what the Warrior had. The Warrior always felt like was the most loaded with that whole mace and battle axe combo. But it's always neat to see some clever weapons, new weapons that we have not seen with other Predators, or things that we've not seen in the movies. We also have multiple different hands. As usual, we got our hand just as kind of like our holding one for our spear, whether it's the collapsed or the extended one. This seems to be, I want to say this is probably for like our fang blades, whatever it was called. And then for that, we have the one that is for our disc right here. He just goes ahead and grabs the disc. Speaking of discs, then we have our other one, which is basically as it flies through the air, which again, I think this is something that's a little overlooked. I think it's kind of cool that NECA has included into this. This was something that was not something early on. Then for that, we have our collapsed spear, which again is another thing that's expected out of these figures. And then for that, we have our full-length spear right here. And this is probably the best right here. I mean, I'm not seeing it going off and curving off to the side. So they're getting better. I just don't know if I want mine to be holding this one. Now finally, I will go ahead and put this on the Predator. We have a unique mask right here for this guy right here, the snake. Now I want to try to go ahead and see if I can show you guys something. There's something that I don't know how well I'll be able to, but we're going to go ahead and get a look in there maybe. This is one of the few Predators where you can actually see the eye holes of the actual Predator behind the mask. This is the only Predator I've seen this. Usually they have like a lens over there. So that's something that I do want to say. I think it's kind of cool, but in the same sense though, I feel like it destroys the purpose. Now then, a part of this review I've been waiting to get into. Okay, so there is a very clear-cut difference between the Ultimate and the release that was in 2013. I think that's when it was. I'm just taking shots in the dark, but obviously you can tell this one, I don't think they were intentionally going for it on this one right here, but it feels like it was more of a comic book type look. I mean, honestly, that's what it comes off to me nowadays, due to the fact that that head, for example, just has way more in the coloration department. I'm going to go ahead and move the lighting a little bit so you can get a better look. But it just seems like the red in it and the yellow is just going to be much more transparent, and there's a lot more flatness. The body doesn't have a whole lot going on to it exactly. I don't think this is a bad figure. I actually think it's a decent figure for its time, definitely. I don't really want to knock it too much, but obviously you look at the differences in the jump, and really this one feels more lifelike, honestly. Like, it feels like it nails the presentation of what it's going for just much better. Obviously the fur on the side makes a big difference. I mean, this right here is just sculpted on. I was shocked that NECA has... like I said, I was shocked they did this, honestly. I'll take a look at the sides right here. The coloration is vastly similar. Gonna move the lights real quick right there. Coloration is vastly similar. Just the patterns are different is the only thing. Flip it around to the back, and we have I'd say we have a lot more, say, like the yellowish and oranges going on over here. But over here, there's a lot more like fading to different colors, and it just doesn't jump from, orange to yellow to black. It just has a nice fade throughout. So I think that is pretty unique. The armor on this newer one appears to be a bit darker, as to where the other one is a lot more flatter. And then for that, we go over to the actual arms. This one, let's see. There's nothing new that they really added to this character. I mean, it's not like, say, like some of the other Predators where they've added in quite a few. It just seems like this one right here, for the most part, it doesn't pop as much right there. It's a lot more flat, and everything just seems pretty dull. Again, I'm not saying it's a terrible figure. It definitely, you can see how time and change has made a big difference in 10 years for these figures, and I'm on the fence between which one I like, because I have a soft spot for the old one, honestly. So I'm not gonna knock the old one too much, because I think it was one of the better, if any, of the releases that they did back then. A final summary of this figure I want to go ahead and give. I don't think this Predator has the draw that, say, some of the other last releases have. I mean, just something about it, lacking the wrist blades, the plasma caster, and a few other things. It feels like it's going to be one of those ones, if you had a decision to choose between, say, Snake versus Warrior versus Shaman versus Guardian, etc., you probably are going with one of the other ones. That said, this one I think is really unique as far as the patterns go. I do show a little concern about the fur due to the fact I did see a little bit fall off upon taking him out of the packaging, and as I did this review, it wasn't nothing that was absurd to the point to where I was actually actively concerned, but enough that does make me wonder how this will hold up throughout the years as I handle it. And we will find that out in due time. I suppose in due time we will be revisiting this figure and seeing how it holds up, due to the fact that that is something that I'm really curious about. But I do applaud NECA for the change in direction. Rather than sculpting the fur, I think that I am thoroughly satisfied with the fact that NECA has almost finished this. No, they have finished this line. The Elder is out now. Once I get a chance to get my hands on him, I will go ahead and give him an order, get him in as soon as possible. Hopefully there won't be a wait. Once he comes in, expect a review. However, though, this is what I deal you with for now. Be sure to check out my other videos on my channel. We have the Godzilla review series, and I also do have the AVP 99 Let's Play, which currently, as of now, it's just kind of on a little hiatus, but I will return to it once my schedule kind of opens up a bit more. So this is what I'm working with personally. I thank all you guys for supporting me and checking into my channel. If you're new, be sure to leave a like, a subscribe, leave a comment down. Let me know, is this a figure you're going to get? Go ahead and point out anything. If there's anything I'm inaccurate about, be sure to just go ahead and leave it in the comment section. We can all help each other out. Once again, thank you.